everyone. Welcome to Guiding Voice podcast series, The Guiding Voice for a Better Future. This podcast is to help students and young professionals to shape their careers. Thank you for tuning in. This is Naveen and I'm with my co-host Sudhakar. Dear listeners, in this episode, we want to cover one of the most interesting and critical topics, that is growth mindset to succeed in VUCA world. And let us know about VUCA and further insights from Suba. And we are pleased to welcome Suba to our show today to have a conversation around the same.
Suba Lakshminarasimhan, founder of SLN Brand Studio LLP, is the personal branding strategist, career coach, CXO resume writer, and a corporate trainer. Suba has been enabling individuals to build a personal brand, execute a professional growth strategy, and elevate their self-marketing abilities. Suba comes with 16 years of corporate and entrepreneurship experience. This experience includes working as a PMO, HR strategist in entities like TCS, British Telecom, and the Class Consulting Group NPO in USA. Suba, thanks for accepting our invitation and welcome again to our show today.
Thank you so much Naveen and Sudhakar for inviting me here. Appreciate this initiative of yours, your aspiration to help the students, professionals, and the way you have been sharing knowledge and expertise with all of them here. This in fact reminded me of a quote that I read recently. There is nothing more rewarding than giving back and making a difference in the lives of people in the community. Look forward to the conversation now.
Thank you for the encouraging comments, Suba. In fact, we wanted to give back to the society, especially to the folks based out of tier 2, tier 3 towns who do not have so many avenues in terms of getting a guided professional direction. Thank you so much for being one of our patrons and being part of our journey. So it's a pleasure to have you on the show again.
Suba, let us get into our conversation. Firstly, let's talk some basics. What is a VUCA world?
Oh sure. Thanks for asking this question. Yes, VUCA is one term that is getting new relevance nowadays, right? This particular word characterizes the current environment that we are all in. Even though it is getting new relevance, this term has been there from a very long time in the world. The students at the US Army War College, they in fact coined this term. So what is VUCA? VUCA describes 4 different elements of the world that we are in: volatile, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Volatile is nothing but the speed of change that we are experiencing in the industry, job market, and the world in general, right? We are living in. And uncertainty refers to the extent where the forecasting, predicting the future, what is going to happen tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next month, next year. Yeah. So predicting the future has become so uncertain. And complexity, the number of factors that we take into action to account for making any decision, right? So there is a variety of things that we have to take into account, right? And then the relation between each and every element that are there while taking any decision. That's what refers to the term complexity. And then ambiguity, I don't have to really explain what ambiguity is, right? So do we have any single interpretation to what we are doing today? No, right? So that's what ambiguity is. So that's what all VUCA is about. So nowadays, VUCA leadership skills are certain traits that we all have to acquire to survive and succeed in this scenario.
Thank you, Suba. That was a concise explanation of VUCA. And when you mentioned about the pace at which changes are happening in the world, that is enormous. And it reminded me of one of my favorite quotes from GE's past CEO, unfortunately who is no longer here, Mr. Jack Welch. And he quoted, "If the rate of change on the outside exceeds the rate of change on the inside, the end is near." So this resonates with the VUCA concept that you mentioned.
We have been hearing a lot about growth mindset in the recent past. What is the buzz all about? Can you define growth mindset in simple terms?
Yeah, growth mindset is, definitely not a buzzword here. Yeah, it's been there in the industry for the past 30 plus years, in fact, Naveen and Sudhakar. There is, in fact, a history behind this term. Let me share that here. Miss Carol Dweck, the psychology professor from Stanford, along with her colleagues, conducted a research on how the students reacted towards a failure. When we talk about a failure, it could be something like not able to do the assignment till failing in exams, failing to get a job, something major. Yeah. When they did that, what they found out is certain students were able to navigate all those failures in a very, very easy way. Some students were struggling a lot. That's when they come up with the term growth mindset. So growth mindset is an ability to see failures but change them into challenges or as an opportunity to grow. That's what growth mindset is all about.
Quite interesting and very simply put through, Shubha. So it is about being positive irrespective of circumstances or failures that we come across and looking things on the positive side and treating every challenge as an opportunity. So thank you for putting it in such simple words. Now, I would like to tie our first and second questions and frame a new one. How does this growth mindset help in succeeding in today's VUCA world?
Oh yes, growth mindset is one critical skill that each one of us must possess to survive and succeed in VUCA world. Let's just take an example of academia during this COVID situation. It is a critical time for students as well the management, right? Especially in colleges. Students were about to appear for their final exams, appear for campus interviews, get placed, start their internship. Suddenly VUCA happened. COVID happened. All had to sit at home and continue with whatever they were doing. Immediately, management, along with all the professors, lecturers, and then the teachers, joined hands, converted everything online. Here, we have to take one particular thing into account. Not all the professors, lecturers were tech savvy, but everyone embraced technology, because of which there is no disruption in students' lives, right? So this is the perfect example to understand why growth mindset is very, very important.
Amazing. So having this growth mindset instilled among the students will definitely help them succeed and prepare themselves to face this kind of challenging situations and be in a better situation in future. Very interesting.
Given all letters in VUCA, that is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguity, are currently in progress or in vague, how students and young professionals develop and plan their careers in VUCA world?
This is a critical question indeed. Here, mere goal setting will not help. For example, if a student is setting a goal to get a job in Amazon, as a part of their career plan, what a typical student would do? They would be creating a resume, prepare for an interview, they will look for easy to crack tips, right? But this is not enough anymore, because when you are applying for a job, you see that another 500-600 people are applying for the same job in a single portal. Yes, for a single job there are thousands of people applying from all over the world, right? So how can you stand unique here so that you grab that opportunity? Personal branding is the tool. You must embrace personal branding. You should be able to create authenticity in what you do so that you can stand unique and then grab that opportunity. You have to create a personal branding strategy. So what is the difference between building a mere goal and then a personal branding strategy? You will start looking at the job market holistically. You will understand what exactly organizational culture means. You will also identify a critical element which will help you to stand unique. How can you be the best fit into that particular organizational culture? You will be looking at the job market, looking at the industry in a totally different way. That way, you will be able to stand unique among her, grab that opportunity just like that. Embrace personal branding, from this minute.
Yeah, I think Shubha, it makes sense in terms of being prepared and being flexible and focusing on the skills that can be transferable so that it will make you domain agnostic as such. Very good inputs as such.
From entrepreneurship standpoint, is it a good option in today's VUCA world to be an entrepreneur?
This is an interesting question indeed. When I go to colleges for keynote speeches or guest lecturing, some students come up and have some discussion with me. Some of them tell me that, ma'am, you know what, we have an app, we have a startup. I feel so good when I hear these words. But further discussion lead me to understand that they have absolutely no idea about building a business around that app. When I ask them about, okay, how are you planning to, build a business? They would come up and tell me, you know what, ma'am, I'm going to pitch in with some, investors that I know. Or, some people would say, I have social media, presence. But the understanding here is in silos. Entrepreneurship is beyond raising funds, beyond having social media presence. Here, I would recommend gaining some knowledge and expertise, experience here before venturing in somewhere. It is okay if you are delaying it for few months or 1 year. Gain at least the basics of entrepreneurship. How can you do that? You can join a startup. Don't stop by doing the responsibilities that specific role requires. Shadow all other roles. Help the cross-functionals. Get in touch with the other elements that are there in that particular startup. Support the other people who are conducting business over there. By doing all these, you will be able to gain experience in all the areas that are important to have a startup. Have an entrepreneur mindset.
I think these are all wonderful insights because many a times all the college grads or somebody who is passionate about entrepreneurship, they directly jump into it without understanding the depth of it. And as you rightly pointed out, merely having an app doesn't solve the problem. We need to create a business model out of it and understand who your customers are and what will be the revenue model and all. And I simply loved your inputs in terms of joining a startup or joining some other organization and going in depth, understanding the intricacies involved in running an organization and then taking a calculated decision. So thank you so much for sharing those inputs, Shubha. I think these are very, very invaluable tips which somebody can follow.
What is the opposite of a growth mindset and what are the disadvantages there?
Oh yes, Dr. Carroll had coined another term opposite to growth mindset, which is fixed mindset. People with fixed mindset, they will have performance issues at the outset. Certain personal characteristics which will lead them to take quick decisions so that they don't have to get out of their comfort zone. They would be either very aggressive like bullies or way too submissive with low self-esteem. Starting, survival, everything will be a challenge for them. See, such challenges may lead to anxiety, depression or serious psychological disorders as well. That's the reason it's very important to adapt to growth mindset.
Suba, how to change the mindset?
Definitely. One can definitely change the mindset. See, our mind is a powerful tool. The stories that we tell to ourselves and the things that we believe about ourselves can either prevent change from happening or allow new skills to blossom. So one quick tip here, using the word yet. I can't do it. This is a negative term, right? You just insert yet at the end of that sentence. I can't do it, yet I will accomplish it. Technology is not my cup of tea, yet I am embracing it. This is, a simple exercise that we all can do to make that self-talk a positive one. Set a vision, set your personal branding goal to become that person that you want to be, the authentic you. Believe that I have an ability to change the challenges to opportunities to grow. This should be your mantra. Create a strategy, by listing down everything that you already have and the skills and traits that you have to acquire. There are various tools like mind mapping, vision board, personal SWOT, be, do, have model. All these things can be used. You can look at my LinkedIn article to understand what be, do, have model means. Most importantly, have a mentor or a coach who will help you to achieve all these things in an organized way.
Yeah, definitely we are going to share your LinkedIn profile with our audience. Just to sum it up, you wanted all the audience to focus on their own mind, since mind is very powerful, and if they think they can do it, right? And at the same time, they can use certain tools which you have mentioned, like mind mapping, having a vision board. Again, vision board is something very powerful, like it actually reinforces and it connects us. Hey, what am I going to do? I'm glad you mentioned about that. Next one is about SWOT, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Again, which is going to be very, very helpful. And I'm glad you brought in a new learning here to the table. The be, do, have, and I'm definitely going to read through that article that you published over LinkedIn and happy to share with others as well. So thank you for all the wonderful insights. Indeed, it is a great conversation. In the interest of time, maybe since we are coming to the fag end of the session, lastly, are there any personal tips that you would like to share with our audience in order for them to succeed in their professional or entrepreneurial journey?
Here, I would like to dedicate my answer to Carol and her quote as a tip. In a fixed mindset, students believe their basic abilities, their intelligence, their talents are just fixed traits. They have a certain amount, then that's it. And then their goal becomes to look smart all the time and never look dumb. In a growth mindset, students understand that their talents and abilities can be developed through effort, good teaching, and persistence. They don't necessarily think everyone is the same or anyone can be Einstein, but they believe everyone can get smarter if they work at it. Learning agility should be your growth tool here.
Absolutely. So wonderful points. You have spoken about learning agility, so which is nothing but quick enough to understand what your development needs are and embark on those courses or attend those webinars. And at the same time, most importantly, it all depends on your mindset. If you think you can, right? I think Ford has put this quote, if you think you can do it, you can do it.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation despite your busy schedule. It was indeed a great conversation on growth mindset in VUCA world.
Thanks again, Naveen and Sudhakar. Pleasure interacting with you both and glad to have an opportunity to share a lot of insights with the community through this podcast. If anyone needs any help with personal branding, career coaching, resume and LinkedIn profile building, can reach out to me. I have a website, slnbrandstudio.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn with using my full name, Suba Lakshminarasimhan. I would be more than happy to help you all. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, Shubha. We are going to provide all these details in the episode write-up, which will be available through the podcast as well as on the YouTube channel. And thank you once again, Shubha. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Suba. Appreciate your time. Dear listeners, to know more about our speaker and the content, visit or follow us on social media or feel free to email us and we will be happy to share further details with you.
All right. So this brings us to the trivia segment of today's episode. And today's trivia is about a funny and of course not so encouraging part of being an innovator. We have been hearing about people getting rewarded or recognized for innovation. But do you know what used to happen a few centuries ago? In the 1600s, there was a punishment for being an innovator And whoever innovates something new, their ears were chopped off, as innovators were seen as troublemakers. Very interesting but scary, isn't it? Anyways, I love these days only because innovators are rewarded in organizations and also across the society. If you'd like to share any trivias, please feel free to share them through email, and our email address is theguidingvoice@gmail.com, or SMS us or text us at India number 9494587187. We will not only share best trivias in future episodes, we will also announce your names. Again, we are open for suggestions on topics that you would like to hear from us through our email address. Our email address is theguidingvoice4u@gmail.com. You may also WhatsApp us on our India number 9494587187. Like our page on Facebook, facebook.com/theguidingvoice4u, or follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/guidingvoice, to stay tuned about our future episodes. We are also available on Instagram as The Guiding Voice for You. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/The Guiding Voice. There is more in store. Until next time, have a wonderful time. Thank you for listening. Take care and be safe.